Daf Kuf Yud Aleph, and we're in the middle of the sugya of Kavda. Let's make a quick sikum.
It's a very heavy sugya.
There we go. Yeah.
Not even jokes.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a bad. That's not a bad one. So Bekitza. So and bottom line is that what the Gemara says. Let's say the Gemara real quickly. What happened was that he had a shaila. Abaye sent his mishlachas, his Safra, to go to Yisrael to find out what halacha is by a kavod. He says, yeah, and he comes back hearing that kavod is good. So Abaye says, I know kavod on its own is good, but what's what's the story with cooking it with something else? So Reb Safra says, I don't understand. If you're familiar with the Mishnah in Chumas, so then the same, and that's how you know that it covered itself as mutter. So then you should know that it asks the other ones. Why? Because the Mishnah says hakaved. Oy, it's oiseres, meaning it asks the other ones. Ve'enoi ne'eseres. And the Mishnah fears is because because it's constantly being pilot. Yeah, Zok the Gemara, Nishkin goes a riot. Zok the Gemara from Yana Mishnah Nishkin Raya. Why? Because Yana Mishnah could be talking about Sham Nun Nisa. What does it mean? Zok the Gemara. Yeah, let's pick it up over here because I want to discuss the two shittas, which is known as Rabbeinu Tam and Rabban. Really, both of them are brought down in Taisus. That what of machlekes, and he says the machlekes and what the sugi is talking about, right? We mentioned it yesterday. We'll go it over again. Yeah. So after the Gemara, right? This is Kuf Yuram Beis. So after the Gemara, Dilma Hasam Bekavda di Surah. We're talking about a kavda like a treifa. That's also that. And the question is, and the Mishnah says that what that it's Aiseres the other. It's fellow travelers. It's going to answer the other pieces of meat because why? Because umishum sham nu nisa, meaning the basar of the kaved, which is a treifa, it's going to answer the other ones, but it itself is not nesar. What does it mean? It's nesares, meaning that it's not nesares, meaning that it's not that if in a different case, not where it's a treifa, where it's a kshera and it's together with a treifa, so it's since it's truda mifaletes, it's busy being pilot, it's going to block the absorption of shamnunis or other kind of iser that its fellow travelers have. That is the Mishnah. Now, just want to point out over here, why are we calling the basar shamnunis over here? Why are we calling it shamnunis? Interesting lashon. Why are we calling it shamnunisa? Since when do we call basar? Why don't we just say because of basar treifa? So I didn't see this anywhere, but we could say a pashta zach, because we're talking about a kaved here. We're talking about the what? We're talking about the liver, which we said. Rashi says that that a kaved is made from what's the lashon of Rashi? Rashi says the kaved is hakaved kuloi damu. And kulei dam karush, right? It's completely made out of blood. So if it's made out of blood, so what's the problem? The teretz is Dr. Gemara, you're right. Even though the kaved is made out of blood, but it has fat as well. But basar it doesn't have. It's the shamnunis that it has. Now the shamnunis has a din like basar. Obviously, it's going to aser, right? But the reason why the Gemara over here used the lashon of mishum shamnunisa is very meduyik, because we're talking about a kaved, and a kaved is made out of blood. It doesn't have any basar. Stop. Okay. Yeah. I believe there's a yayvitz.
We don't have any basar. Then what is it? What that we eat when we have liver?
No, eating the dam. This is the dam that's kosher. This is what Yalta said. She wanted to take. She said that the Eibishter was matir dam, And what's the dam that he was matir?
Even after we captured it, it's still down.
It's dam. It's dam korush. It is dam korush, and this is the dam that the Torah was matir. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. There's a, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so that's the shtickle. Now let's see one more shtickle Gemara. Let's see a shtickle Gemara before we discuss the machlokes, the machlokes, because there's a kasha sai like Rebbeinu Tam and sai like the Ramban. Push the pshatava of the Gemara. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we get to the words. Yeah, okay. Zok to Gemara. Okay. Oh, my. Mishum Dama, my. Oh, but what's the story with Dam? What's the story with the Dam? Does the Dam answer the other ones? So Rav Safra went back. So he's okay. So he went back. Ashkel Rav Zreika. Amalei. Hi nami loy tebayloch. That's also not a shver. That's also not a shayla. Why? Dano the Yanai Brei Rav Ami Iklan lebei Rav Yehuda Brei Rav Shimon ben Pazi. Myself and Yanai, the son of Rav Ami, went to the house of Rav Yehuda Brei Rav Shimon ben Pazi. Ukrivilon kanya bekufya ve'achalna. We ate, and I'm going to show you. This is what I brought today. A kanya bekufya. What's a kanya bekufya? The kane, meaning the windpipe, with all with all its the whole package. Meaning everything that's hanging from the kana. When they take it out, they take out the kana. They take out, hanging from it is the lungs, the heart, and the liver. If you have the kanya bekufya, so you have the lungs, the heart, and the kaved, and this is what they served them. This was the delicacy that they served these guests, right? Ve'achalna. So what did they do? They cooked the kanya bekufya. So you have in there the liver that's attached to the heart and the liver and the heart and the reya and the lungs. And the question is, if it was cooked together, so vaistois liver does not aser the acherois. And this is right. So here we got to enough Gemara to discuss, to see the show and tell, to see what the Metzias is over here. But I just want to discuss. So we'll see that in a second. But let's just discuss this machlokes. Yeah, the machlokes, the Rebbeinu Tam and the Ramban is like this. Very gishmak. What are we talking about? What kind of a kaved are we talking about? And it's really two machlokesin. It's two machlokesin, and as the Ran is going to point out, that really it's not mochach to hold them up, to hold them both, right? But the Rebbeinu Tam understands that the Gemara's Abayas suffix is by a kaved that is not salted, right? A kaved that's not salted. And what's the suffix? The suffix is the Torah was matir the dam in the kaved when the kaved's inside. When it's inside, the Torah was matir at 100%. Why? Because that's what we have from Yalta, right? That the Torah was matir dam karush. The question is, when it comes out, does it asa achlimi? Yeah? Yeah? No. That is the suffix of Abaya. Now, the other part Rebbeinu Tam doesn't say, but this is Pashut because the Gemara didn't discuss it. That's Pashut's how to Rebbeinu Tam, that if the dam, if you need salting, if there's a problem with it, then obviously you'll be able to salt it, no problem. Salt it. Why not? Dam. Why can't you salt it? And salting helps. And there Abaya never declared if salting helps.
So the question really is
do you need salt?
When the Torah masters it, did they say this blood, whatever form it is mutter?
Right.
Or did they say it's mutter because it's korish,
Right.
And if it becomes uncovered, then it's going to be us.
Right. That's the right. And yeah. Now, and Kipshutoi, Rashi seems this kind of a language. Rashi says, let's say the top Rashi says, "V'chol zman shloi pirish pshitli demota, v'chi pirish mibayli mai." Yeah, until it's right. You saw Rashi in today's blot on like the sixth, the eighth line. Yeah, v'chol zman shloi the second thin line. V'chol zman shloi pirish pshitli demota, v'chi pirish mibayli mai. Yeah, that's the this Rashi over here. You see? Yeah, you see this Rashi here. Yeah, and there's a Rashi before it. Okay. That's good. However, the Ramban, and Tosfos brings down the second side, has another side. That Abai is clearing about salting. That maybe the pshat is that since the covet is so loaded with salt, with dam, that salting is not even going to help. And that's what Abai was clearing. What? It's never going to, it's not going to draw out all the blood. Right?
That's so much blood.
Yeah. It's made out of blood. Yeah.
This is why we only broil it.
What did you say?
This is the reason we.
Oh, we're gonna get to how we paskin Bez Hashem. We'll see. Okay, but that's good. Okay, but that's the machlokes. That's the machlokes Rishon. I say it's the machlokes Rishon. So again, light Rebbeinu Tam. You don't need Abai. But if salting works, the suffix of Abai was without salting, right? And Loiter Ramban, the Avada without salting for Shteitzach, it's not good. The question is, with salting was the suffix. That's the pshat in the Gemara. That's the machlokes. Zok Tosfos, if the Gemara that we just saw this today is there's a one dik haloshin that l'chura is mashma very clear like Rebbeinu Tam and one like the Ramban. Why? Because the Gemara says, the Gemara asks the kasha, fact the Gemara Shaila, we have a Mishnah that says, Mishnah in Chumas, that says Oiseres Ve'ein Neseres, that a liver has the ability to asa something else, but it doesn't become asa. And the Gemara wants to know what the case is. Fact the Gemara, what's the case? And the Gemara has to go say a case of Shamnunis. Fact Tosfos, let's just say we're talking about in a case where it wasn't salted. Learn Rebbeinu Tam. What?
But the stuff could be very mucha.
What?
It could be mucha below mucha.
Yeah. What's the Gemara's kasha? The Gemara's kasha is Eiseres Ve'ein Neseres. How can it be Eiseres? You have to say it's talking about Shamnunis. Let's say it wasn't salted.
That's Ramban.
Yeah, that salting is not going to. Yeah.
Even
That by dafka that.
Dafka by middle boil.
Right. That obviously we're talking about salted, and even insulted is an issue. Yeah, that's one. That's one way of Tosfos. Now the other way, Zofrek Tosfos had a kasha the other way from the shtickle that he brought kanya bekufya. What's kanya bekufya? These three pieces of meat, right? It has the kana, and the kana has like a grape, has like a thing. It has three pieces of meat. It has the lathe, the reya, and the liver, right? Frek Tosfos, the reya and the heart are kochach you salted. That you have to salt like everything else you have to salt. So mechatesa b'chalal these two were salted and that wasn't salted. Akochi salted at all.
Partially that'll be good.
And later Rebbeinu Tam, everything has to be later Rebbeinu Tam when it's salted. It's not a shayla. Obviously, salted works. Yeah. So that's the kasha on Rebbeinu Tam. Yeah. Zok the Ran, Amor the Gates. The shaila is if you need salting. But if you need salting, it could be salting never helps. Mechtes salting helps. Bekitza, salting, covered is a new animal, right? The question is if you ever cook it with acheres, right? And you have a question of and if salting and if dam of a kaved is a problem, then it's a problem even if you salted it.
It's both are a shayla.
Yeah, both, but I don't know if you say both is a shy. Right, in other words, it's going to be a shayla even if you salted. Yeah.
It's shayla when you
It's a shayla with that, and he's not talking about salting because there's no tzad that salting helps.
Shayla both.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying, but not that Abaye is daf could talk. Yeah. That would be that is okay. Now let us put this on hold, and we're gonna go. Yeah. So here we have the video. Move the camera here. Camera over here. So here we have the. So this is the kanya. Here's the kanya, the kanya, and we're going to see in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to say that you can use it as a chimney sticking out of the pipe, out of the pot. We'll see. This is the kanya, and here's the reya, and here are the unois of the reya, right? The unois, the different unois. See, the two ears over here, and then here's the umma, is the big one on the bottom over here, and then on the other side, could be it was cut off already, I don't even remember. It's been a while before we had this one. Let's see. No, okay, here is, I don't even remember how this was done. Maybe they cut it off, I don't even remember. Anyway, here are the some of the unois. And this is the big thing. We have the pipes coming down, and here's the heart. But they took off the what's called the pocket that holds the heart, and here's the heart. I want to open up the heart because the heart is very interesting to see that it's shani leiv the Shia. We're going to see that in a second. 1 second. And I also want to try to blow up this una. Could be this una was already cut up. I don't remember. It's been a while. It was in the freezer, sitting in the freezer for a while. Let's see. And here's the kaved, which is supposed to be attached, but it was cut off already. I don't remember exactly what happened. What? Here's the big kaved.
Looks like
yeah?
what?
Right. It looks like, yeah. Here's the kaved. Yeah. This is the kaved, and here's the sim point of the kaved. We're going to have this in the Gemara soon about the sim point. The pipes of the kaved. Okay. Now normally they all come three together, but this one was cut off already. It was cut off. I don't remember. Okay. Here's the heart. I want to cut open the heart, but before that, I want to try to blow up this rail. Let's see if it's gonna blow up. Where's this thing? I don't know if it's gonna go. We'll see. We'll try. Let's see if it's gonna go.
Out of here.
You see how it blew up nicely. Right? Yeah? And this is what they do. They blow it up, and then they put it into water, and you see if it bubbles up. But you see how it blew up real nice and easy. Yeah? That's beautiful. You see?
Is that a glass straw?
What?
Is that
No,
a
it's a
glass
plastic.
straw?
A regular plastic straw. Now if I'm gonna take it out, it's starting to fall already. But that's the raya. Oh, look, there was a bubble, and that is a hole in between the Karmeilah and the Karmetato. You see that? See that? See that? Look. Here's a hole in between the Karmeilah and Karmetato because you see it's bubbled here. We discussed it. Okay. Now I want to just open up the heart, and then with that we'll be finished the show and tell.
You do have a heart. A very good one too.
Okay. The heart is very important to see. Let's just open up the inside of the heart. Let's see if we can open it. Let's see.
The guy with scalpel?
What's that? I have brought along a box cutter. Hopefully it's gonna work. Let's see. I brought a knife also. Okay. Let's see if this is gonna work. Yeah. There's no shoifchai. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. It opens very, very nicely. You see how the heart is, and if you look at it now that it's opened, you see how the heart has these. It's a very, very, very thick. This is the cardiac muscle, right? That's why it's called a very, very, very thick. And you see the chambers inside. You see that? But Shani Leiv, the Shia, because this is it's a harder, thicker kind of a muscle, and therefore this one is not boilea. Now it's not boilea, but interesting. If you look at the what's called the texture of a heart, and if you look at the texture of the liver, they're actually pretty. They're both pretty Shia. And there is a shita that there is a shita Sarishonim that we say the Svar of Shani covered the Shia as well. Also has a very, 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 it seems very, very tight and not so absorbent. Okay, Givaldik. Okay, so that's the thing. I wanted to show the Una de Varda. The Una de Varda is that tiny little Una, which is over here. It's that little one over here. When it's blown up, you can see it better. But anyway, those are the things that we have here. Okay, Givaldik. Okay. It's good. Okay. Maski flor Ravashi vitem Rab Shmuel bar mi zrukinya vidilma pikana chutz l'ktei rahava. How do you know that the pshat is that the reason why the kanya b'kufya was kosher was because it's enoisaris acherois. Maybe he had the corner sticking out like an exhaust pipe, and therefore it was sticking out chutz l'ktera, and somehow the main arteries of the heart and the kaveh, the liver, and the kanya have some sort of a connection that the blood will be drawn out and it will evaporate. Inami michlet havachalile. Before he cooked them all together, he was michlet havachalile. What's this michlet havachalile? Which is what the Gemara says now, that there's a concept of freezing it in place. Michlet havachalile meikara, or a lashon of cauterizing it. They cauterized it in place. They froze it. We'll see how. And then once it gets frozen in place, and therefore it didn't. That's why once they froze it in place, but in the kaved, so memela it didn't share to its counterparts, the other two chevra. Ki had Ravuna chalti le bechala, like Ravuna Taka used to freeze it in place bechala with vinegar. Rav Nachman chalti le beroischen, and Rav Nachman Taka froze it in place with bubbling hot water. Now Tosfos has a mordig kasha. Tosfos has a bomb kasha. Frek Tosfos, what's a bayit clearing? If there's a problem, I have a gevaldig raya that it's a problem. What's the raya? Because Rav Huna was chalti le b'chol and Rav Nachman was chalti le b'roischim. Why did they do that? The Torah says they hold that it's asas acherim. Yeah? Zog Toisvis, Abaye didn't come up with the Shiloh on his own. Sal Takasha, and he went to go ask Eretz Yisrael, but this was a Taka Shiloh that he knew that Rav Huna and Nachman also cleared. Not that they did it mitam Vadai, they were Taka Besopik.
So,
Gewaldig. Sagt die Gemara weiter. Now, once we're speaking about the chaltile bechala, meaning that you stuck it in vinegar to make it to freeze it in place, and that somehow cauterizes it and makes it stuck, and now it's not gonna share its goods. That even though now the liver is fine to be cooked with something else, but the challah itself, the vinegar that it was in, is asa. Chala asa. Amalei. So Rava told Rav Papa, Ichala asa, Iunami asa. No. If the chala becomes asa, that the pshat is you're saying that what that some of the blood escaped from the liver and it went into the vinegar. If it escaped the liver and went into the vinegar, so then maybe something else is going to escape again. Weiter when it cooks with something else.
Or even without that, the blood that's in the vinegar now could pass
What?
on to the next stage. The blood vinegar combination.
But Rashi's mas even more. Zok the Gemara, if it expels any blood, then it's even worse. Not only is it going to answer the other ones, ki ichala asa iyunami aser. Then the liver itself is going to become aser. Ki hechi depolit hadabala. Just like it expels something, if it could expel anything, then it will absorb. We know it doesn't absorb because it's treaty. Because it's treaty and it's pumping out blood the other way. Yes, Rashi explains very geschmack. But it was chaltile b'chala now. Once it's chaltile b'chala, you stop the gap and you slowed it down, and it's not flowing out blood as on its regular at its regular clip, right? It's much slower now. So if now that you slowed the flow to go out. So now, but some does escape. So forget now you're even much worse. You would be much worse. You would be in much worse case. You now fakert the kavod would become usher itself. Yeah, that is this Gemara. And it must be that it gets completely sealed and it doesn't let anything out and nothing in. So the Gemara right there. Yeah, good. So the Gemara Rav Bashva. Rav Nachman. Rav Bashua went to the house of Rav Nachman. I see lekavdo shlika. They brought a kaved shlika. Now over here it's interesting because Rashi doesn't even say it over here. He's going to say it in 3 lines from now. But the way Rashi seems to be learning, and it's a ha'ara that Rashi doesn't point it out right here. Shlika means very well cooked, and once it's very very well cooked, now we have a problem. We're going to see that maybe it got softened up and maybe it's going to start absorbing. He didn't need it. And then, so they told Rav Nachman, Amrulei, Barbe Rav de Legav Loyachal. The Barbe Rav, that there's a Barbe Rav inside that's not eating. Umanu Rav Bashva. Amalahu. So Rav Nachman said, Amalu Rav Nachman, Gomu L'Shiva. Let's go, let's stuff him. We're going to go stuff him. He must eat it. So the Gemara Kitanoi, this shaila about shlika, about having been or having overcooked, is a machlokes tanoim. Kitanoi Reb Elazar mehakavi doiseres vein neseres b'neisha berletz vein berlas rishmo b'neisha b'rechem b'rechem mituveles. If it was very highly seasoned or vines mituveles oiseres v'neseres, then it could absorb as well. Shluka oiseres v'neseres, and shluka is if it's very well cooked, then it's oiseres v'neseres. Now there's a lot of different girsos in this brisa, and it's also a little bit shver why the lashon of the brisa is mituveles why it doesn't go mituvelas ushluka aisaris v'neseris. It's a little bit shver. The Goyen has a whole different gears and a whole different shot in the Gemara. Yeah, but and the other har is that in other places in Shas, sholuk doesn't mean well cooked. But over here, that's how Rashi learns that.
Means like pickle, right?
Right, or it means slightly cooked. And the Ritva says, Eina Chanami, the Ritva says, over here, he says that it depends on the context. Sholuk means cooked, and it depends on the context to understand what it means. And over here, it seems like it means well cooked. But why didn't Rashi say it before? Aisi lekavda shlika v'lei achal. Why didn't Rashi say right there what shlika means is a little bit shver. So to Gemara weiter, Rab Baravuna ikle bei Rab Barav Nachman, Aisi lekamei klas soy tachoy. They brought in front of him 3 saw of tachoy. Tachoy is these sugar rolls. These rolls that were smeared with oil and honey, some kind of a delicious Danish. That's what they brought in front of him. Amalu mihavi adisa dasinu. How do you know I was coming? Hey, how do you know I was coming? How do you know I was here coming? Right? Amrulei miadifes lon mina. You think you're better for us? You in other words, you assume that we made it for you, but you didn't assume we made it for Shabbos. Miadifes lon mina. Dechsev v'karasel l'Shabbos oineg. Yeah. Yeah, that's the what's called it that so the Sfasem is much as why he thought that they made it for him. Why did he think that they didn't make it for Shabbos? It was obviously a tremendous amount of bread. It was an unusual thing, and they were doing something extremely unusual. And what they were saying were that you understand, Gufa, that for a chashuv guest we should make it. We taka such people that we were Mechabed Shabbos, so unusual that we were Mechabed Shabbos like a special guest. I mean, that's mamish. I think that the pshat of the Gemara is very posh. Okay, anyway, so the Gemara right. Amaluhu. Oh, yeah, fine. Adochi ashkachahu kavda. Yeah. Adochi ashkachahu kavda the havabos impuna the belia dama. He found this kaved, this liver. The havabos impuna the pipe we showed the pipe before the belia dama that was loaded with dam. Why did you do this? So what should we do? In other words, that what? He says, so Rashi explains, that the pshat is all the heter of by a liver is all the liver itself. But where it's already collected, the lashon of Rashi is dam akonus b'simpoinus damu. That's real dam. Everything else is not dam. This is dam. Miu dam akonus b'simpoinus damu. Yeah? Avo b'shadam haniv lo boy heteru. Miu dam akonus b'simpoinus damu. It's regular dam. Amalu so hechi never amalu kiru shasi ve'erev ve'chitucha l'sachas. Meaning they have to cut it shasi ve'erev and chitucha l'sachas. What's chitucha l'sachas? Chitucha l'sachas means that it must be roasted in such a way with the cut is down and so memela the blood from the simpoinus will draw down. So the Gemara writes, "V'hani mili kavda," and that's all. Where do we have to be choishish for the dam of the simpoinus? That's dafka by the liver. Avol tachla is the spleen, which you would think also has a problem of blood. Shumna ba'al mahu. That over there, it's only a problem of shuman. Kihad the Shmuel. Avdile tafshila the tachli b'yom David milsa. That they made from he would make a spleen soup, a spleen dish out of tchalim b'yom the avdi milsa. So what do you see from the fact that they made a spleen soup, that what do you see from there that there's no problem? So it would seem from Rashi that the pshat is that part of the halacha of kirush esiveri v'chitucha l'sachas is that by definition chitucha l'sachas is not possible by kedera. So by definition, shesiveri v'chitucha l'sachas means it must be roasted. And from the fact that Shmuel made a tafshila, he made something that was in a pot. So Vaisa, he said there's no problem of you don't need, there's no halacha of shesiveri v'chitucha l'sachas. So the Gemara weiter. Yeah. Okay. So the Gemara weiter. Okay. Itmar. Kavda ilavi bisra. Oh, what's the halacha? How do we do it? So kavda ilavi bisra. What's going to happen if you're roasting? Now Rashi explains it very like this. That this whole Gemara is not going to be negeh, is not negeh lididan, that we roast things straight. Because you roast things straight, and you have to be choishish which one is on top and one is on bottom. So you pick it up and one gets a little higher, boom, you're in trouble, right? This is only in a case where the way they roast. There's some places that they still roast that way. You take a spear and they spear it and then they hang it from the handle.
Like they do for shawarma.
Right. Shawarma.
Yeah.
The shawarma thing. Right. I guess so. Yeah. I guess so. Right. But the bottom line is, so there it passes to have a top and a bottom. But otherwise, you always have to be choishish that you're going to go like this, you're going to pick it up a little like this, pick it up a little like this, and you're in trouble. Okay, anyway, kavdei lavi bisra shari. The kaved on top of the meat is shari. It's mutter. Why? Because dama misrak sarik. The blood rolls right off. Because blood is something that's very, very, it's a very thin consistency. It doesn't have much fat, and therefore rolls right off. But if you're going to take the cow, the udder, and put that as the top piece on top of bisra, also by time a cholav suruchi misrich, because the cholav has the fats and it's going to get stuck. What? And this is weird. Rashi referenced this Gemara earlier on this cloud. If you're going to have the order on top of the basar, my time. It's only an Issa D'Rabbanan anyway. Why? Because it's only coming out of the cow once the animal is dead already. It's not coming out when the animal, it's not being collected when the animal was alive. So Memela, it doesn't have a Shem Cholav yet. And therefore, it's only the Rabbanan and Memela Nishkefelach if what rolls off, if some of it gets stayed. Kavli Lavi Bisra Aser, but liver on top Aser. Why? Because dam deraisa. Because dam is Aser. Darsh Merema Hilchasa Ben Kavda Ben Kachla Tusi Bisra Shari. If it's under the meat, it's Shari because that's for sure good. We don't have any problem. Ilavi Bisra the Eved in Lechatchila Loi. So Gemara Ravashi Ikla Bei Rami Bar Abba Chamua. Rav Ashi went to his father-in-law's house. Chazia lebreidra b'chama. He saw his shvaga deka shapid kavdi lavi bisra. That he was doing this l'chatchila. He was putting the kavod on top of the bisra. Amar kama yoyer hayim rabbanon. Eimedam rabbanon diavad l'chatchila miyamer. L'chatchila avad, you're not supposed to do that. It's only b'diavad like we paskin. Sokti Gemara vi ekabedugi. If there's a gravy trap, a gravy catch on the bottom of it, that a bisra ilave kavdanami yasra, then the basar on top of the even meat on top of the kavod is going to be asr. Why? Because the pshat is, it would seem that the way they would have this gravy trap is that the meat on the bottom would be sitting in this gravy, and the problem is that the whatever gets trapped into that cup is going to have a din of dam, and dam is usher. We needed it to roll off and go into the fire. Umayshna midama de bisra. Why are we saying that this beidugi is usher only in such a case when you have a kaved and not when you don't have every single time you have meat? Let's be choishish that the meat that the blood is going to run down and it's going to fill up the beidugi and it's going to be a problem. So the Gemara. Umayshna midama de bisra. So the Gemara dama de bisra shachen dama de kav de coffee. The dama de bisra, the blood of meat is very thin, and therefore, right? It's shocking. It settles to the bottom, and you just take off the top, and you leave the redness on the bottom. However, dama de kavda coffee, the blood of the liver is coffee. It's very, very fatty, and it stays on the top. It doesn't separate from the blood. What's the word? And it's so gishmak. The way we learned in Amud Aleph, it's very gishmak because the liver is made from blood, and it has shamnunis. So any blood that runs from it is a very fatty blood. And it's kafah. Very gishmak, yeah? Very gishmak. Okay, Zok the Gemara right, Amar Nachman Amar Shmuel, Anai Sugya. And there's be'etzem a gewaldige kasha for the Gemara in Daf Ches on this Gemara. How does Gemara stims with a different sugya? But let's see. Amar Nachman Amar Shmuel, Sakin sheshacha ba osir lachtich ba roiseyach, a sakin, a knife. That, and this is the beginnings of the sugya of Naparnat, which we hopefully will maybe touch on today, and maybe not. Yeah, right. Well, we're gonna start with sakin sheshachat ba also lachtich b'reiseyach, a sakin that you shechted with. It's also to cut with it something hot. Why? Because the pshat is because we have the blood. Because we say beis ashchita mishach rasach, which means that the knife has absorbed with the heat of the beis hashchita, it had absorbed blood, and now you're going to go cut something that's hot. So now the thing that's hot is going to be b'lei adam. So we have a problem. But soinin, what's with cold? What's with cutting something cold? Amila b'ei adacha, v'amila loy b'ei adacha. We have a shayla. If you're cutting something cold, some hold that you have to wipe off the cold thing that you cut with this knife, and some hold you don't even have to cut that. You don't have to wipe off. Now, what's the problem with this? The Gemara earlier.
What should they do with cold?
What?
There's no blood going there.
Right. So the question is, if there's a little blood on the side, maybe you need a hadacha. You need a hadacha just to wipe it off. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the problem with this? So the Rishonim are bothered by this kasha. The Gemara earlier said that sakin that shechted a treifa, I could go and continue shechting. Why can I go continue shechting? Beis hashchita mesach rasach, and it was beleya from the treifa, and so how can I go and continue shechting to the next animal? Right. Yeah. So the Gemara says, so they say two chalukim. One chaluk is like this: that beis hashchita mirsach rasach, it's true, but it's not going to be boileya. The next animal is not going to be boileya because since it's tridi lifleit lam, so it's not going to be boileya. That's one pshat, and the other pshat is that beis hashchita mirsach rasach is not like a resicha of Oval Gemara. Our Gemara is a real resicha. Beis hashchita mirsach rasach is enough to make the sakin be boileya, but it's not going to be enough for it to be boileya any blias. That's the two mahalchim that the Rishonim say in that stira for the Gemara Daf Ches. Okay, let's move on quickly. So the Gemara weiter. Okay, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Kaira shemalach babasar. What's with a kaira? A plate. Shemalach babasar that you salted on it meat. Asalechal baraiseyach. I can't eat on it a resicha. Why? Because why? we're going to see that the kaira, just by salting on top of it, is going to become nasa with dam. Why is it going to become nasa with dam? Because of made the geshita of Shmuel. Shmuel tamei dam Shmuel meliach hareyu k'reiseyach. That salting has the power like reiseyach. So since meliach hareyu k'reiseyach and the other thing is kavush hareyu k'mavushal. Kavush hareyu k'mavushal meaning that something that's soaked for a long time is also k'mavushal. Bottom line is, so therefore, since I did a resicha, I did a maliyach hareu k'reiseach on this ka'ara, so now the ka'ara absorbed dam, and now if I'm going to put on a hot piece of steak on this plate, now it's going to be balei dam, and this is all a tam rishon, a nice and tam. Ravin came and said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that Ravin lesson. So let's not listen to this Ravin that he claims that Rabbi Yochanan disagrees with Shmuel about Moliach Harei Kreisech. Why? Dahi Pincha, there was a klicheres, some kind of a klicheres plate. The Hava Bei Ravami, that was in the house of Ravami the Malach Babisra. It was obviously not what they planned on using. They planned on using kalim that are possible to kasha, but this one was a klicheres and somebody salted on it bisra v'tavre, and they broke it. Why did he break it? Michti Ravami Talmud Rabbi Yochanan have my time at tavre. Why did he break it? La mishum deshami leiminei Rabbi Yochanan damar melech hareu k'reseach. Because it must be that he also heard from Rabbi Yochanan as well. The melech hareu k'reseach. And so what Ravin says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, we don't hold on. We hold melech hareu k'reseach. Sagt die Gemara weiter. Yosef Rav Kana Achud Rav Yehuda. One more shtickle Gemara. Maybe we'll stop here. We'll see. Yosef Rav Kana Achud Rav Yehuda. Kameid Rav Huna. Rav Kana, the brother of Yehuda, was sitting in front of Rav Huna. V'Yosef v'kal ma'kai Rishamalach babasa asalecha b'reiseach. Okay. If you have a plate that you salted in on it basa, or you can't eat it, you can't eat a steak on it. Asalecha b'reiseach. Why? Because it's gonna go and be boileah from the dam. However, a tznoin, what's a tznoin is a radish that's very sharp and it doesn't need heat for it to be boileah. Shechatchoy b'sakin, that you cut it with a fleshig knife. You could go and eat this fleshig tznoin with kutach. What's kutach? Kutach was a dip that they would use. Again, they had a very, very bland life, right? So one of their things that they ate food a lot was with this kutach dip. It was a very bitter dip, and it was made out of leftover crumbs and nisyovi de chalba. Nisyovi de chalba is the whey, right? We use whey nowadays a lot. Right, so the whey is the stuff after you take out the milk, after you take out the cheese. What's left over, that yellow juice, is called whey. So that has a din of chalav. So again, he's saying it's mutter to eat a radish that was cut with a fleshig knife together with this milchiks. Yeah. So again, eating a steak on a plate that you salted the meat, that's going to be aser. Why? Because the plate was b'lei adam. But going to eat the radish with a milchig dip, that's going to be mutter. The radish was cut with a fleshig knife as well, so it should also be aser. My timer. Like this. Hi hetera bala, v'hayisura bala. The tznoy, the radish, at least in the Havminas HaGemara, the way we're explaining this Gemara, the way we're understanding it now, that the radish, when it absorbed the fleshiks, when it absorbed the fleshiks from the knife, it was absorbing meat. Nothing wrong with meat. Meat is not aser. It's not possible of meat. So that's hetera bala. No problem. Mashenkin, the blood, the plate that you salted on it, meat, so it absorbed dam. Dam is also hayatera bala, hayisura bala. Amalei Rava. So Rava says, Who cares if the radish, when it was Boilea, was Boilea Beheter? Soif, Hayater Dasa the Asuranuhu. Lamaisa Soif Kol Soif, I have this radish is a regular, has a Nasinas Tam of Basar, and I'm going to go and eat it Bekutach, it's regular Basar B'Chalav. Hayater Dasa the Asurahu. The Asura Kachal, the guy's eating regular Isser. I'll tell you. It's the same language of Hayater Bala, Hayasura Bala. Ella Amar Rava. I guess Rav is saying a different. I guess he's not even teaching Abaya. Hi Efshel Mitame, V'Hai Lo Efshel Mitame. Practical, very simple, practical thing. By the tznoin, it's possible to taste it. You'll taste it and see if it got a flavor from the meat. And if it got a flavor from the meat, avad, you won't eat it with kutach. But if you didn't, if you taste it and there's no taste of flavor of the meat, then you can go ahead and have at it and eat it with kutach. Mashenke, by the plate, you can't taste it. Why? Because it might be a issa of dam. Yeah, very gishmak chelik. Amalei, yeah, good. Klar. Amalei, popular rava. Ule taimei kvei larma. Why are you saying you can't taste it? Amalei, popular rava. Ule taimei kvei larma. What do you mean? Okay, you're right. A Jew can't eat it because maybe it has a taste of blood. But let a non-Jew what? Yeah, we had this. A non-Jewish cook who's a connoisseur. Let it taste, and he'll see if he has the taste of blood. And the Gemara brings down this whole thing that we have a right that we use a kvei l'arma like nan. Didn't we have a Mishnah? The Mishnah says kedei rishabisha babasa layevasha b'chelav, a pot that you cooked in it meat. You can't cook in it milk because it's basa b'chelav and nice and tam. Then bishel b'nice and tam. It depends if you did cook the chalav in this pot, it's also been nice and tam if the kedei is still nice and tam. And if you cooked in this pot chuma, you can't cook it in chulin. And we said on this Mishnah, we had this shakavataya a few times. How could you taste it? Simple. A kohen is mutter b'chuma, so you want to know if it has a taste of the chuma. Well, ask a kohen to give a taste and to see if it's going to be mutter l'Yisrael. By bas b'chol, who's going to taste it? It's also bas b'chol is also. V'amalon l'tayim kveilah, and we always to answer that the teretz is that a kveilah, that we trust a kveilah. So if we're trusting a kveilah, so what's the pshat in? Again, back to the story of Rav Kana, that he said a chilukim between tznoin and ka'ara, l'chura by both of them, let it be tasted. By the tznoin we'll have a yid tasted, and by the ka'ara we'll have a guy tasted. So the Gemara, hakanami the time mikveila. So the Gemara, hakanami kikami nedleket kveila, and hakanami we're talking about if there's no kveila.
You know, at least have a 5-star chef.
That's right. And in case where you don't have a kvela, that's where we're talking about that's where the Gemara is. What? Right. Yeah. Okay. You want to stop here? Or you want to